Hey guys, Dennis here with Revog Games. I'm joined by
Joshua Weyers, all the way from South Africa.
yes, and we're here at the Revog Games podcast to talk about the latest gaming news, releases, speculation, business dealings, all that good stuff. All right, let's start. Not like it's like kind of like this. We're almost gonna like get to these big releases now soon. But the first thing is happy 25th anniversary to Fallout, the original Fallout.
Yeah.
That was 1997. That was from Interplay. That was before the franchise IP got sold to Bethesda, where they made the change to Fallout 3. But Fallout is now 25 years old, and the reason why we're talking about it is New Vegas developer Obsidian, which actually has some of the original Interplay developers, basically on a tweet said, "Happy 25th anniversary to the original Fallout, a franchise whose roots helped form us and a world we truly love. And before anyone asks, our plates are pretty full right now, so no." And then a little kissy emoji. So basically saying, stop asking about Fallout New Vegas, because that's all they get asked about. If people remember, Fallout New Vegas is the only recent Fallout game that was not developed by Bethesda, but since Obsidian, had original team members from the original Fallout and just has that whole history with it, they let them make that game. It's kind of got a beloved status amongst the Fallout community, where people are dying to see a New Vegas 2, or hopefully maybe, in my opinion, if they do make a sequel, I kind of hope it's not New Vegas and it's new whatever, something different. But the CEO, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name, but Fergus Urgerhart, he says that there's no question if they were asked to do one, they would definitely do it. That it's not like, oh, do we want to or not? It's no. If we get the chance, we will do it. And the funny thing is, like, we never would have thought that ever before. But then when Microsoft
happened,
when Microsoft bought Bethesda, so they had bought Obsidian a long time ago. Not a long time, but before they bought Bethesda, maybe like a year and a half. I can't remember the exact.
Before Game Pass was big as well.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
And so the whole thing was, okay, now that Obsidian is owned by Microsoft, there's no way they're going to make a Fallout game, because now they're owned by Microsoft. They're going to work on, original IP for Microsoft.
But then
yes, then Microsoft bought Bethesda, and everyone's first thing was like, now can Obsidian do a sequel to New Vegas? Now, my question is, do you want to see a New Vegas 2, or are you kind of more like me, where you want to see Obsidian do a Fallout game, but have it to be something else, like a different location, basically?
No, I want New Vegas 2.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Why?
Why? If it's a new location, just give me Fallout 5, I want New Vegas 2, man. 100%. Like, you can set it in a different era or time, I suppose. If it wasn't going to be New Vegas... Well, okay, here's a question for you, Dennis. If it wasn't going to be New Vegas 2, what area would you choose?
I'm trying to think of something that would kind of go along with the theme... Not theme, but the kind of atmosphere of New Vegas. Right, so we're talking like Atlantic City, whatchamacallit, Macau in China. But, like, something like that. Yeah.
Maybe
something that has that flair.
That could be cool. Yeah, something like
with that flair
could work. Yeah,
Monte Carlo, something like that, where it's not
Monaco. Man, that's you got me thinking now. That's actually really good. I like that. Yeah. Ooh, that could be cool. Tokyo, even. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fallout New Tokyo. Oh,
yeah.
That'd be crazy, man.
Just because I've seen, I do
New Amsterdam.
Because with New Vegas, it's like, okay, it's gonna be. Definitely, I think would have to be 100% be set in a different era if they're going to stick with Vegas, because you've got to change up the location. Like, I don't want to play this a game that's like basically the same map that I've played before. You know what I mean?
I'd want it to be set after, not before, just so that there can be like Easter eggs and throwbacks to like the original New Vegas game. That'd be quite cool to see.
And you want the factions to change, and you know what I mean. Like, so if it is stuck, or not stuck, but if it does stay and remain in Vegas or New Vegas, then yes, I want it like set 200 years in the future or something, like 200, 300 years in the future, and then there's some more history, some things can change, and new bosses, new factions, all that good stuff, so that we don't see the exact same characters and same
Yeah. They were the ones who made the companions good, in my opinion.
Yes, they did.
They made the companions good.
The companions were actually my favorite things about New Vegas. There are things that I still think Fallout 3 had done better, but New Vegas, definitely the companions were all like, a lot of them were top notch. I mean, I wouldn't say all of them were A+, but some of them are really, really good.
It was a good expansion.
Yeah.
They had really good DLC as well.
Yeah. So I do remember the original game, at least on was it the Xbox 360 that it was on? I think so.
Yeah, it was 360. Yeah.
It was like buggiest game I'd ever played in my life. It would crash like randomly out of nowhere all the time. There was like so many bugs like everywhere. So yeah, it definitely it needed some polish before it'd come out. But it was still a very good game.
It was a great game.
Yeah.
It was immersive. I liked the story. I liked the characters. The companions.
Did you play it on PC, Xbox 360, PS3?
I played it on Xbox 360 towards the year before the Xbox One came out. So like the final year of the Xbox 360's life cycle, if you will. Because I remember sitting down with my friend Charlie at the time, and he was like, "Have you ever played Fallout, Josh?" And I was like, "Yeah, I played Fallout 3." And he's like, "Have you never played New Vegas?" I was like, "Yeah, I've never played New Vegas." And then he refused to let me leave the house that day until I sat down and played. Like, he wouldn't let me leave. He's like, "You got to play Fallout New Vegas." Played it, loved it. But even then, like towards the end of the cycle, I want to say that was like 2013. I think that was the year 2013. Anyways,
I can't remember.
I think it was 2013. That's when I played the game for the first time. And even then, yeah, it was a bit glitchy, a bit buggy, but I fell in love with it. I enjoyed it a lot more than Fallout 3.
Yeah, I have. I still hold Fallout 3 has a special place in my heart, and I think I still like it over New Vegas. But there are definitely improvements in New Vegas that, like I mentioned, with the companion, even the companion wheel itself, just whatchamacallit, quality of life stuff like that was just better. Where
interactions,
it's like,
stuff,
yeah. So I definitely would want to see them make a new game. I personally would want a different location, but if they do stick with New Vegas, go ahead, just do it, in the future, a significant amount of time in the future.
Yeah, look, I want New Vegas too. Either that, or I want it placed not in America. Like, let the next Fallout 5 be in some other state. For those who are listening, I'm on heavy medication right now, so I fumble my words. Forgive me. But man, I like the idea of a foreign Fallout. That'd be sick. Yeah. Fallout New Tokyo, Fallout New Amsterdam, Fallout New Monaco. Those would be cool, man. Fallout New Shanghai. I'm down for it, man.
Yeah. And then this is a site. This isn't that big of news, but I know that IGN, kind of in celebration of Fallout's 25th anniversary, they're doing this like kind of IGN documentary called Inside Stories about Fallout 76 and how there's like this hardcore fan base. Even remember, Fallout 76 came out and it was like a dud, right? People like myself who are huge Fallout fans thought it was pretty boring. But they did have improved it since then. A lot of the bugs have been ironed out. Not all of them, but like a good amount of them. The Wastelanders update was huge for adding kind of more story components. Made it feel less empty, because it was very empty. When the Fallout 76 first launched, there was like, you kind of had to create your own game, basically, which apparently these hardcore fans did. And apparently Fallout 76 is now this obsession that certain people have that have kind of created, like, there's like, if you watch the trailer, because IGN has a trailer for their doc, and showing like people doing like, Romeo and Juliet like plays in Fallout 76, and like there's people like selling and trading stuff, and role playing is doing all. I don't know. It's just it's taken on a life of its own, and IGN's kind of covering like what is this?
I heard about that.
Yeah.
Like when because I had a few friends who played Fallout 70. Look, I tried it when it first came out. I was dreadfully disappointed. But then again, I didn't have that many people to play it with. Then I had friends who played it when it first came out, and they were all playing it together, like a good like 5 of them, I think. And they very much, I wouldn't say created their own story, but like created their own community and factions, and like that was like a thing that they would do. You know what I mean? They'd always play with the same other group on the same kind of server, and they'd make their own factions, make their own like, well, I guess make their own story, but like they wouldn't role play. Like shit would just happen, and they were like, oh, remember that guy? That guy did this. We'll never forgive him for that. You know what I mean? They held grudges and kind of created their own real life story, I suppose, around it, and they had a great time. I hopped into this Fallout. What was it? I think the beginning of this year or end of last year, and had a much better experience because there was so much more in the game itself.
Yeah.
I was playing alone, I was having a good time playing alone.
Yeah, me too.
Which is odd, you know. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Actually, I want to see what everybody did with the game, especially when it was very bare bones, you know.
Yes. Also, there's going to be another. They said this DLC that's coming out, which is Nuka World, is going to be the most significant update since Wastelanders, which was the first time that Fallout 76 got better. That like I could actually play it, because that added NPCs. Like the huge thing about Fallout for me is the NPCs. Like I love talking to other characters, and having dialogue trees, and them completing tasks, and all that stuff. That's like, it's more motivating.
The base building grew on me in Fallout 4. The base building grew on me, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I didn't get too far into Fallout 76 to see any of that, but I really enjoyed Fallout 4, all the base building, all the DLCs that came with that, where you could make your own Thunderdome and stuff like that. That was really fun. So yeah, it grew on me. But yeah, at the NPCs is where the heart of the game is. Like, that's what got me into New Vegas and like I said, I played Fallout 3, but Fallout New Vegas is what got me to be like a diehard fan. And it's all about the NPCs, the interaction with them, the dialogue choices, and I like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, the Nuka World DLC is coming out. I can't remember what's the date on that. But anyways, it's the most significant update, and I haven't touched Fallout 76 for a while, and a lot has to do with the fact that I'm PC gaming a lot more than console gaming right now, and that has to do with two things.
Same.
One, it's easier because my PC is just right here available to me, and then two, it's like my graphics card is better than what my consoles are right now. So I have the PS4, and I have the Xbox One
playing on 1440p, double the resolution,
Yeah, so it's just better for me to. So the problem right now is that I can't transfer my game that I already had going.
That sucks.
No
cloud saves.
Yeah, Fallout 76 to my PC one. So maybe they've changed it, but at least at that time they did not, and that was something that I was like, okay. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. The next thing is not so much big news in terms of what it is, but more of what it represents, which is the God of War Ragnarok review copies have been sent out. So people, not me, but other people have received their copies, and they're playing it as we speak right now. The reviews will come out on November 3rd.
I wonder what the rules of the embargo is.
I
wonder how much they're allowed to play and how much they're allowed to talk about / not talk about.
I heard, I think it was Jeff Keighley on Twitter had said he was going to give first impressions this Friday. So there may be
maybe some people get special terms or something. That's interesting, because you would assume usually with these embargoes it would just be the same for everybody involved. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, the game comes out November 9th. Reviews coming out November 3rd, and possibly, if Jeff Keighley is right, he's going to be able to give first impressions this Friday, which is the 21st, which is 2 weeks before the reviews. That's interesting.
I wonder if he's going to have time to play it, or like trying to finish it.
Well, yeah. I mean, we'll see. I mean, But
Well, I guess he
anyways,
doesn't have to. I guess he doesn't have to finish it if he just does like the first like couple
yeah,
chapters and does
yeah.
first impressions on
impression.
that. You know.
Yeah, and then PlayStation, Sony's had released God of War Ragnarok kind of behind the scenes video, very story based. It talked with a lot of the narrative and story teams about the game, and yeah, just showing you. I mean, a lot of the footage was from the first game. I liked how they were kind of like pimping out the God of War on PC. So like every time they cut to a scene from the last God of War, they had a little available now on PC underneath the logo.
Yeah.
They kind of mix some like last God of War stuff.
Have you tried playing it on PC yet?
No, like I said, it's like
Man,
I just
it
played it.
Purrs, Dennis. It purrs. I'm playing it on. I finished playing it again the other day because I replayed it on. I replayed it on PC because I gave away my PS4, so I no longer have access to it.
That makes sense.
It's the same reason why I bought Final Fantasy 7 Remake again because I like that game, love it. Like a lot of the games I had on PlayStation, like Kingdom Hearts 3. I just bought them all again on PC because I don't have access to them anymore. So I played the new God of War on PS. Not the new God of War, but I played God of War on PC, and man, it purred. I was playing it on like ultra graphics, 1440p. It's worlds apart from the PS4 version of the game. Yeah, fantastic. Same with Horizon Zero Dawn. I played that on PC as well.
Yeah, like I wish they gave some
amazing.
sort of upgrade path where you could like show that you had the PS version and you could upgrade for a less the thing is I don't want to pay full cost for a game that I already own, be it on another platform. It's like,
yeah,
give me an upgrade path and then I can be like,
I'm
okay.
most likely gonna get a PS5. Well, I'm gonna try to get a PS5 like Black Friday, Cyber Monday around then. I just have to be like have my trigger finger ready to like click buy now before anybody else gets any of those good deals. Looking at it because I know eventually that these games that I want to play, I know that eventually they will come to PC, but I really want to play the new Horizon game and I really want to play the new God of War game really freaking badly. And unless I see some really good specials on graphics cards, I'm most likely going to be buying a PS5. Because I think the PS5 will be cheaper than a new graphics card. At least in terms of where I live, we pay a lot of import tax on digital goods.
So yeah, that is coming out soon, November 9th, right around. Remember, people were speculating whether it was going to get delayed again. But yeah, it's already gone gold. Review copies have been sent out. Some people have speculated, oh, this isn't going to be like a full game. They're like, is it going to be like Miles Morales where it's like shorter, But supposedly it's the full. How many hours do you think you spent in the first God
segue
of
real
War?
quick. While you brought that up, Insomniac did say that they are absolutely working on Spider-Man 2. It is still on set for next year.
Yeah.
Just wanted to bring that up while we're on the topic. What were you going to ask?
How many hours was the last God of War? 30? Like how long?
I'd say like if
20
you're
something?
if you're a completionist, about like 30, 35, I suppose. Like I know I put in about 40 hours because I took my time with it and I enjoyed it.
I didn't fight the Valkyries, so I did have a shorter.
Yeah,
shorter
no, I
amount
put
of time.
somewhere between 40 to 40. I could be wrong. I think I put in 47 hours in total.
Okay.
But like a lot of that could have also just been me like in the main menu making a sandwich in the kitchen or something, But no, I 100% that game on PS4. I was obsessed when it came out.
Nice. So yeah, so we're looking forward to that. That's what people are saying at the end of the year it's going to be between God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring for Game of the Year. Which of these two they're going to battle it out. But for me personally, like I said, probably not going to get a PS5 anytime soon. Maybe next year. I do hope they, close down those PC release dates. I know they're right now they're a year, 2 years, but we're starting to steadily see.
If they can get into 6 months, I'd be so happy.
Oh yeah, me too.
I'd be super happy. And like for the most part, like moving forward, most things are going to be running on Unreal Engine 5 anyways. So it shouldn't be like the engines won't be too different. You know what I mean? You don't have to build it from the ground up. porting it should be easy.
Mhm.
Even, you know what I mean?
All right. Moving on to the next topic. This is Microsoft. Looks like as the UK government was investigating the whole Activision Blizzard acquisition, the companies have to disclose a lot of stuff, even stuff that's not known to the general public. And basically, one of the plans that got revealed in the documents was that they're going to expand their mobile game presence, and that Microsoft plans on making an Xbox mobile game store, game front, which is interesting. You already have the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. I don't know what they're going to be able to put on there.
Also, like, it might also be a bit difficult or tricky for people to actually get it, depending on what they're using. Like, if you're on an iPhone, you'll probably have to go to the website and then download the APK file from the website, allow third-party installations, and it's really not that difficult. But for most people, they're like, nah. They're not going to go through that effort, even though it's just like a few extra taps of the finger. It's a few extra taps of the finger.
It's called barrier
you know
of
what I mean?
entry, right? They call
Exactly,
it friction in the business. So if there's too much friction, much like how VR before the Quest happened was like, there's too much friction, right? For VR, you got to buy the headset, and it has to connect to your very powerful PC, and you got to put up sensors and all that. So it's too much friction for the general audience, so the general player. So they don't do it. And so So what you're talking about is that makes perfect sense. Like, people just don't want to do all that.
I think it's good though. Like, I do think it's good. Any kind of competition is good. I highly doubt they're gonna offer better rates than Apple or Google Play. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I don't think it's gonna be anything like that. But it'll be good to have competition. I use a lot of third-party applications on my phone, and third-party apps and stuff like that, and I have no issue with it. I'm sure some people are a little bit scared about it, but hopefully with Microsoft behind the name, they'll be less likely to be wary of it. Also, does Microsoft still make phones, or?
No, they don't.
Not I mean, I know they used to for a while.
They did. They
I
had
liked
bought
the phones.
I did too. They had bought Nokia, and they were doing the
that's
Microsoft
right.
phones. I actually had a Microsoft phone for a little while, and I actually really liked it. The only problem it had wasn't the OS itself.
Windows 9. The OS was good in my opinion. I think it was Windows 9, but the OS was pretty good.
The only issue was third-party people weren't making apps for it. That was the only issue. Like, if third parties were making apps that worked well with it, it would have been perfectly fine. So I actually really liked the interface and everything. But, it's hard for people to change. People just kind of, they kind of want their incremental changes. So I think it was
all in all, this is I think it's a good move for them. Eventually, you're going to be doing a lot of cloud gaming on your phone anyways. You're going to have Game Pass on your phone. Well, I think it's not available here, but I'm pretty sure it's available in America. Don't know how much of it's available. You should try that out sometime. Download the Game Pass app and try to remote play some of your games.
Well, that's another thing I think we had talked about last week, where now you can do, or not now, I don't know what the release date. In the future, you're going to be able to do Game Pass on your Quest.
Yeah, that's actually going to be quite cool. Although, well, I don't. Maybe it's just my vision that's not good. But with the Quest, it's like the only thing that is in focus is the very small thing that I'm looking at in the center. Then everything else is blurry. All your peripheral vision is blurry. Which, if you're gaming in real life, that's not what it's like.
Yeah.
Let's move on, because my dopa cool is kicking in.
Cool. All right. The semi-related, well, not related, but related to Microsoft, is they had laid off hundreds of staff. So this wasn't Xbox specific. It was just Microsoft across the board laid off. They didn't name the number, but they're guessing that around 1,000 people, or maybe more, were laid off at Microsoft, including people at Xbox. So it's interesting that these big, large companies that make lots of money lay off. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, it could
never
also
really
be like a
understood
thing
it.
of like getting a lot of people are outsourcing their outsourcing has always been an issue, and I think it's somewhere between AI and outsourcing that could lie to why a lot of people lost their jobs.
Yeah. So yeah, that's just something on the radar.
I mean, it's only less than 1% of its workforce.
Yeah, still that's a lot of people considering they have 180,000
Yeah, yeah,
workforce
you got a
per
good point.
person workforce. So less than 1% is 1,800. So because that's how many people they supposedly were planning on letting go. Um, so also speaking of Xbox, Microsoft, and Game Pass, two games, one bigger than the other. They just recently came out on Game Pass. One was Scorn, which is that very weird game that is inspired by H.R. Giger's designs. I think it's also
Correct.
inspired by this Polish artist. I can't remember his name, but apparently
Started on Kickstarter as well.
the Medium game that you and me had played and both liked. Apparently that Polish artist also had influenced the design of that game. So, and then this game is like very weird. I played it for a little bit. I'll be honest with you. I got a little motion sickness from it, which is weird because
Really?
because I play a lot of VR, and I don't know what it was about this game in particular that gave me a little motion sickness.
Yeah, look, the reason I react that way is because I get motion sickness from VR and you don't. But I didn't get any motion sickness from this game. Maybe it's because I have my DPI really low and like my I'm blanking on it. My mouse sensitivity really low. Like, so maybe that's why I had zero motion sickness from it. I'll tell you what though, I've played a lot of the game and I have no idea what the hell is going on. It's one of those like you kind of figure out the story from your surroundings type of game.
Yeah, it's like a puzzle
it's
game.
not like too in your face, you know what I mean? And I'll be on like it's been very trippy. I'll say that, but I have no idea what's going on. A lot of people have complaints because it's like I wouldn't say it's false advertising because they didn't really say what it was going to be. But a lot of like the stuff we saw before this looked a lot more action packed, a lot more combat heavy.
Yes.
And there's basically no combat except for one level, and then even then it's like minute.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's like a walking simulator / puzzle game. With a really, really good really, really good art, which is the main reason I played the game for so long because I was just like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, look at that. That was like the most of my experience playing that game was just looking around, looking at the trippy stuff. I will say based off of Geiger's work, not as it's less sexual than I thought it was gonna be. You know, just like coming from like the kind of work that he does. Still sexual in nature, like gory and sexual in nature and trippy, but yeah, less so than what I thought. I'll tell you what though, I have been enjoying it, but like casually. I also thought the game would be scarier, you know?
It's more gross.
Yeah.
I want to say it's like disgustingly
beautiful.
Like beautiful. It's like the graphics are great, but it's like really gross.
Well, that's what Geiger is known for, is like gory and sexual sexualization. So it's less sexual than I thought it was going to be, but still pretty like sexual and gory nonetheless. Like I said, I've been enjoying it. It's kind of one of those games where like I wish I still smoked weed because I probably enjoyed a lot more if I was high, but I don't. I'm sober now. But yeah, great experience, I'd say. It's just like falsely advertised, or that's not what people are expecting, unfortunately.
Yeah. I thought it was going to be a combat game just from the graphics. You know, you see it, you think of aliens, you think, okay, you're going to fight aliens, but really it's not that. So let's move on to the next big and bigger game that popped up on Game Pass, and the one I'm looking forward to. I actually downloaded, but I haven't. I've been meaning to play it. It's just I've been caught up with so much stuff the last couple days. But A Plague's Tale Requiem, which is a sequel to Plague's Tale Innocence. I've been watching a lot of reviews. It seems like this game is right up my alley. I haven't played it yet. I haven't played the first one either. I'm going to do something weird, which is I'm going to play the second one first and then play the first one. And if I like the second one, I will go back and play the first one. But apparently people were saying...
play the first one. Play the first... let me just double check and make sure it's on Game Pass real quick.
It is.
Then definitely play the first one. I never finished the first one, but the first one was really good.
But they said...
It is like It's a direct sequel, isn't it?
It is a direct sequel story-wise, but they say spiritually, like the way the game plays is different. They said it's actually more like
Okay.
they said it's more like Uncharted. They're like, oh,
That's
this is
interesting,
like
yeah.
it's like Last of Us meets Uncharted, with rats. So they basically they said the first game was a very indie AA title with I guess it was like about 10 hours of gameplay. You know, it was very self-contained, right? But this one is like supposedly like 20 something hours, and like it's much more expansive. Like the levels are huge. The first game was much more historical, like based in real history, and this one is more like a made-up kind of history and made-up kind of areas and whatnot.
That's quite cool.
They said it has some swashbuckling elements, like there's like treasure. I don't know. The way I didn't want to get too spoiled, but basically it sounds like this game is much different than the first one. You have the same characters, but they've kind of changed the tone of it and made it more, even though it's still very bleak from what I heard, but the gameplay is much more action orientated, much more, like it just has a lot to it. But I think I'm going to play this second one first. And then I'm gonna go back and play the first one because this sounds up right up my alley. People are giving it very good reviews. They're saying that some people are kind of wishing it was more like the first one, and some people are glad that it's kind of changed to this kind of bigger scope, much more almost to AAA. They're like it's not quite AAA, but it's like almost AAA title.
Yeah. I'd love to try it out. Unfortunately / fortunately, one of my favorite games of all time is coming to Game Pass in 2 days from now, which is Persona 5 Royale Edition, which is with all the DLC and everything. And I played the original game, but I never played any of the DLC. But I love it's a great turn-based Japanese RPG. Yeah, I'm gonna be playing that all weekend, man. As soon as that comes out.
All right. Well, yeah, I'm gonna definitely play that. Maybe later tonight.
Yeah, let me know how it goes. I actually want to go back and finish the first one because I remember enjoying the mechanics of the first one. It was very different.
Yeah. I'm gonna check it out, and maybe I'll do a first impressions video, or if you get a chance to play it at all, we can talk about it further.
Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to that. All right. Next news is sad, but also not surprising. So G4, if people know what G4 is, but G4 TV kind of predates kind of the Twitch era. It's basically a channel that was dedicated to gaming, and they had a bunch of shows like Attack of the Show, X Play, and all that stuff, and it was a full-on network. And then it went away, and then it got relaunched the end of last year, November 16th, and unfortunately it has been shut down less than a year later. I guess Comcast was funding it.
Not enough marketing either, man.
Not enough marketing.
Because they did partner with some Twitch streamers, if I recall.
Yeah.
Like they partnered with a couple influencers and streamers, and I think they should have gotten those streamers to market it as well. Or maybe they were expecting them to, and then they didn't. Because I remember watching like this one thing, and I was like, "Oh, this!" Like I didn't even know that it was G4 that I was watching. You know what I mean? But it was really entertaining, and I only watched it because like a lot of my favorite streamers were in it. So I think they should have marketed it better.
So the CEO of Comcast, who had revived G4, Dave Scott, he wrote in a letter that basically saying that over the past several months, we worked hard to generate that interest in G4, but viewership is low, and the network has not achieved sustainable financial results. This is certainly not what we hoped for, and as a result, we have made the very difficult decision to discontinue G4's operations effective immediately, which is basically, I heard that some people who worked for G4 didn't find out until like they saw it on Twitter.
The tweet, yeah, I heard that's hilarious. Shame. I think there was one girl that was like on her way to a funeral or something, and she found out. That sucks. Yeah.
The reason why I kind of preface this announcement as not surprising is that when I first heard G4 was returning, I was excited because I was someone who had watched Attack of the Show for, I remember for maybe a good year I had watched it almost like every day. But that was like in 2008 or something like that, 2008, 7, something around then. And now that it was coming back, I was excited because I thought they were going to be like, okay, gaming is a lot bigger than it was back then. And they were going to take advantage of all the new technologies in gaming that was going to kind of help promote and help, but what they ended up doing was just recreating the same thing that they did before, like they put on the fact that it was, a TV network,
Yeah.
was, right off the bat, okay, that's, you're going to make
Red
it a TV
flag,
network. Yeah, you're going to make it a TV network. You're going to put TV
TV's
money
dying.
into it, especially for something like this, where people are already used to and accustomed to going on Twitch and following influencers on live streams and, getting their news on YouTube. You know what I mean? Like, the whole industry has changed in terms of the way people receive their news and the way they interact with gaming in general, and this really, I don't feel like it really took advantage of that. And I never saw anything about G4 stuff. It never was in the zeitgeist. Like, did anything in G4 ever pop, like in the circles of
the only, like I said, it only ever popped up on my YouTube recommended because of streamers or influencers that I know that were a part of it, and then the algorithm would kind of pick that up. I will ask real quick. Have you ever heard of Xfinity?
Yes, it's
supposed to be like a video, like it's so, because I was wondering if Comcast has any ties to any kind of streaming service, because if they were able to get G4 onto Netflix or Hulu or anything, really, it could have done really well. But they don't. Apparently, they own Xfinity, which I've never heard of before. It's instant TV. It's like cable TV streaming. It's very weird.
Yes. It's their own. It's their own network through their cable services. Because remember, Comcast.
I've never heard of it though. Which and like it seems like it might be American only as well.
It was kind of a bad fit, right? So you have Comcast, which is a cable network that is.
Yeah.
Their whole interest is getting people to still subscribe to cable. I am no longer subscribed to cable because, one, I found the streaming stuff to be more convenient, being kind of on demand, and also being able to like access it through many different devices. I also gave my cable company, kind of like, I told them I'm leaving, and they kind of didn't really seem to care. They're like, oh, we can give you this deal, and the deal sucked, and I'm like,
oh my god, they're just like, okay, bye, later.
And I was like,
we know we're not Netflix, bye.
I did that to Verizon too. I left Verizon as a cell phone service because I asked them, do you guys have any deals for new phones or anything? It's like, no. I'm like, all right, you don't want to keep a loyal customer on, I will be leaving.
Yeah.
So
I do think that's why G4 died. They didn't adapt. You know what I mean?
And now
no adapting, no marketing.
Yeah. And now that I think about it, because they were Comcast owned, they didn't want to go that Twitch whatever route because that is new technology, and so it's like, I don't know. It was like a conflict of like, here's where gaming is going, and they're trying to keep it back in the old days. So it was just, I don't think it was a good match, And then they were and I heard that the Twitch influencers they did get, they were paying them gobs amount of money. Which always happens. That happened at when I worked at Complex through Collider, and it was through Verizon was the parent owner, and they had the Verizon Go 90 stuff, and they were throwing money at people like YouTube stars and like Twitch star. I don't know if Twitch was out back then, but basically influencers and whatnot. And so, a lot of that money gets, gobbled up, and then you don't use it in production. I'm not blaming the influencers.
I feel like I vaguely remember a few of those streamers tweeting about G4, but like, hey, watch us on G4. Like, I feel like I vaguely remember like some of those like tweets, but the issue is like I don't have access to American cable TV, you know, and like that's the thing with is that a lot of Twitch streamers, their fan base is international, you know.
Yeah.
Like, and if I don't have access to G4, I'm not gonna watch G4. You know, I'll watch the clips that somebody put up on YouTube, but that's about it. Because as far as I know, here in South Africa, I had no access to G4, and I don't think Europeans had access to it either. Nor do I think Asia had access. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure it was just America that had access to the TV show. I could be wrong about that though.
So yeah, I am sad and disappointed for the people that lost their jobs, but sadly, it was kind of inevitable.
Bound to happen, man.
It's like the Google Stadia thing. It's like you see it, you're like, okay, that's not gonna work. I know you guys are pouring a lot of money and work into it, but it's just not gonna work the way that you've set it up. And the same thing happened with this. All right, moving on to the next thing. This is my last thing, which is the Last of Us TV show. Bella Ramsey, who's playing Ellie, basically was encouraged not to play the game ahead of filming, and that makes sense to me. Because it is an adaptation of a game, and yes, if she had already played it, that's fine, but like there's no need for her to play the game and be influenced by the decisions the voice actor and the facial, capture people did in the game. And also the story is going to be different. It's similar, but it's going to be different, so you can't exactly draw one-in-one, comparison. So I feel like it's a good thing that she did not play the game, and that she can kind of bring her own interpretation of what she thinks Ellie is to the TV.
I absolutely agree.
So
as an actor, we're constantly told the exact same thing. If you're gonna do even just for practice, if you're gonna practice a monologue or a scene that happens to be from a movie, don't ever watch the movie. Don't ever watch the scene. Like, do your own take on it. You know what I mean? You're so easily influenced. And especially because she's young, she could very well be influenced by the performance in the game, and that could have an effect on her acting. But then also the thing of knowing what's going to happen in the future, where it's it's going to affect how you say things differently. You know what I mean? It's also why in a lot of really big budget movies, you get handed a script with a lot of it blacked out, not because they don't trust you to say things, but it's because it's hey, you're better off acting in this scene not knowing what's going to happen, because your character doesn't know what's going to happen. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Nobody knows the future. So you, the actor, knowing what's going to happen in the future could have an effect on your performance of the character that's not supposed to know the future. You know what I mean? Yeah. So no, it makes sense. I'm glad they asked her. Some people, when you're older, it's different because you can just not be influenced by it. You know what I mean? You can be like, okay, I watched this thing, I played this thing. I'll just choose not to let it affect my acting. You can make that conscious decision. It's still difficult, but you can make that conscious decision as an adult. If you're a child, however, it's going to influence you. Absolutely. So I'm glad she hasn't played it, and I'm glad that she was told not to play it either. I do hope that she gets the chance to play it after all the filming, though, or at least once they've done part 1, then she can go and play part 1 the game.
Okay. Good breaking news here.
Oh yeah.
Silent Hill 2, the remake, is going to be coming from Bloober Team. So Bloober Team, who you and me know from Medium, they're also what else are they working on? But basically, they're going to do a remake of Silent Hill, which it had always been rumored that they were working on something Silent Hill related. But I guess Konami has announced that Silent Hill 2 is being remade, and Bloober Team is handling it. Also, let's see, Silent Hill F revealed as a new game set in 1960s Japan.
Ooh, that's gonna be trippy as hell.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, man.
So there are some trailer screenshots. There's actually an announcement trailer.
The aesthetic is going to be so cool. I think the aesthetic's going to be awesome.
Yeah,
aesthetic.
Silent Hill F, I don't know. It says it is unclear what F stands for in the title. But yeah, 1960s Japan. And they did have an announcement trailer. It's a very teasery trailer. I'm just kind of skimming through it right now, where it's like less gameplay and more about just kind of like slow pushes and pound pull outs on yeah. Was it? Anyways, yeah. So Silent Hill F, Silent Hill 2 remake. Silent Hill Ascension is a live Silent Hill event coming next year. Wow. There's something called Silent Hill Ascension in the works, a live or possible interactive experience in the Silent Hill. Okay. Silent Hill Townfall invites Annapurna no code to shape the world of Silent. So yeah, just a bunch of Silent Hill. so this. All
right. Let's hop into the last bit of news here, man. I
go for
can't
it.
keep my eyes open anymore.
Go for it.
All right, so the bad news that happened recently was there was a lot of drama surrounding Bayonetta. The lead voice actor, Helena Taylor, has called for a boycott of the game because she was only offered $4,000. Things have changed since then, but bear with me. It's important to know the beginning part of this before we get to the second part of this. She said that she was offered a $4,000 buyout, or like as a final offer to do the entire role. She posted a very emotional video onto Twitter, and I was absolutely standing with her behind this as a voice actor. I completely agree with everything she said. She said some pretty serious things as well, which is now bothering me if the second part of the news that I have, if that's correct, and this is seriously bothering me. But she even said that like at a certain point in time, like she got suicidal. It became like so emotionally distressful for her that she got suicidal. Let me make sure I get the gist of it. The point is that she feels like she's worth a lot more than that, and I agree. $4,000 is a pathetic buyout to voice the lead in a video game. It is a pathetic buyout. Like even on the low end, it's a minimum of 10 grand is what it usually is, and that'll be for like a national buyout, or you know what I mean, or like 15 to 20 grand for an international buyout, which is what it should have been roughly, you know what I mean, in terms of industry standards and whatnot, you know. Nowadays as a voice actor, it's very difficult to get royalties and residuals, so none of those were included. But yeah, she got offered 4 grand. The name, I love this dude. He's actually my favorite guy on Twitter. I'm blanking on his name now. The creator of the game. He was like having a Twitter spree. He's very famous on Twitter. Like, he's more famous on Twitter for being himself than he is for having developed the game. Oh man, I need to get this guy's name. Otherwise, I'm blanking. Why am I blanking? Let's go to. Oh wait, here we go. Kamiya. Well, it's something Kamiya. And he does this thing where he notoriously will just block people on Twitter. Like he creates this little bubble of things where it's like, I guess only people who agree with him or whatever. But he just blocks people for asking. If you ask him the same question twice, he has a set of rules, and if you break that rules, you will be blocked. And he blocks people so much that sometimes his Twitter account crashes. Like you'll go to his Twitter account and it'll just say not available, not because he's suspended, but because he's blocked so many people that day that his Twitter account has crashed. Anyways, he went off the rails. I was so disappointed in him. Because I agree, 4 grand is pathetic for this. As a voice actor, I'm so sad. On a side note, I'm pretty upset because lately I've seen a lot of voice actors sell their voice to AI for about 4.5 grand.
That's so
which
cheap.
Is also, I know, and I mean sell their voice. Like there's a website I use. Not going to disclose it right now because I'm going to monopolize it while I can. It's where most of my money comes from, and every single day, it's usually from Chinese companies as well. They offer you about 4.5 grand, which for like a struggling voice actor is a lot of money. And then I'll see it'll have like 80 to 100 submissions, meaning like 80 to 100 people are like, here, take my voice. And you can read, like they don't like try to like swindle you. Like you can read, it says it's for AI usage. You know what I mean? And then permanent usage afterwards for national or international usage. And people are just selling their voices, man, for like 4.5 grand, which is nothing. It is so detrimental to the industry as well. It pisses me off. Like, I've been tempted to as well, but the issue is that it's just
4 to 5 grand is not a lot of money. That's not a lot.
Also, a lot a lot of the work I get, a lot of the work most voice actors get is corporate work, educational work. You know what I mean? It's a lot of commercial work where you're speaking like, "Hi, we here at AT&T value customer satisfaction," like
Mm-hmm.
very like customer friendly tone of voice, and AI nails that. AI can't do emotion, but it can do flat voices very well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So anyways, that pisses me off. Getting back on track, Helena Taylor got screwed by getting offered for $4 grand for the game. She called for a boycott of the game. Went super viral on Twitter. Everyone's calling for a boycott of this
Mm-hmm.
game. I don't know if that's going to change now that new information come out. The new information that came out was that she was supposedly offered $15,000,
Mm-hmm.
which is still on the low end, but
Yeah.
a lot more reasonable. Like I said, that usually is on the low end for that. She was offered at least, and the thing is, at least 15K. I think that she was actually offered, if I'm doing the math right, I think she was offered more closely to 9K. Maybe it was misinformation for her because they wanted her to come and do 5 sessions, 5 recording sessions,
Mm-hmm.
and each session would have paid about 3 to 4K. So
Mm-hmm.
I think she must have misread it or misinterpreted
Mm-hmm.
it because she's thinking like, oh, they offered me 4K as a buyout. It's like, no, 4K per session, lady, and you
Mm-hmm.
got 5 sessions, so it's like 3 to 4K. Let's split the difference. Say it's 3.5K. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? 5 times 3.5K. That's like, it's significantly more than the 4K that she thought she was gonna get for the entire thing. Um, but going into more of this, supposedly, and this is the part that hasn't been confirmed, so I take it
Yeah.
with a grain of salt. Supposedly, she asked for a 6-figure sum and residuals. That's a lot of money. You know what I
Yes.
mean? I think asking for residuals is fair, but a 6-figure sum to, you know what I mean? To like, look, Bayonet is big, it's huge, but it's not going to be like it's not going to
Yeah.
be like
Yeah.
it's not going to be nearly as big. It's not going
It's
to be big enough for you to
it's
deserve a 6-figure pay.
it's not
You know what
God
I
of
mean?
War. It's not God of War Ragnarok.
Exactly. That's yeah. I was gonna say it's not The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Like yeah, it's sad, but like if this information that I'm reading is true, then I'm disappointed in her for her reaction. Like I said, maybe it was a mistake, but like double check if it is a mistake. Double check that stuff before you go and make drama on Twitter and call for the boycott of a game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They ended up hiring somebody else now instead. Um, but yeah, she tweeted multiple videos claiming that she was only
Yes,
offered 4K.
Jennifer Hale, who did the voice of
Yeah.
Femshep, was hired.
Yeah, look, and also like the SAG after a union minimum is about $1 grand per session with no residuals.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the union minimum is $1 grand. Like, so I don't know. Like once again, like I don't know where she was getting that number from. Maybe that is because it's the sources are from Bloomberg and VGC. They said
Mm-hmm.
that she was offered at least 15K, and a lot of people are coming forward and saying that she was offered that much. But maybe somewhere down the game of Broken Telephone or somebody like the thing is like if there's enough middlemen, there's enough room for error. You know what I mean? And her, at least the video I watched her post, it seems genuine. Like I don't think she's baiting. You know what I mean? I don't think she's faking it. She seemed genuinely sad by it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and I think she supposed I think she's gonna be in a bit of trouble now because I think she broke her NDA when she came out and said all this, and that's gonna affect her negatively, unfortunately.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah,
some people may not want to hire her in the future because maybe they think she
because she
maybe
broke their NDA. Yeah.
broke the NDA or maybe she's problematic or whatever. If you put out a video like this, it's like, obviously she's upset about something, so that's why she put it out there. But at the same time, it's like it can also get negative, I guess, reaction. Hey guys, sorry we had some technical difficulties with Josh's feed. So just to kind of wrap things up, thanks for everyone that's been watching or listening. Make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel, youtube.com/Revog. You can follow me on Twitter at ThinkHero, Instagram Dennis.tzng. You can follow Josh. I have the links below in the description. We also have a Discord channel there, which you can discuss any of these topics with us. So until next time, and we'll see you guys later.